Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development, where we share original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. We hope you join us often for practitioner-oriented content around all things related to leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with Human Capital Innovations Podcast. Do you enjoy the Human Capital Innovations Podcast? Please subscribe, leave a review, comment, share, and consider supporting the podcast on Patreon, even at the producer and sponsorship levels. Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. In this HCI podcast episode, I share my recent Forbes article, Fostering Change Agility and Readiness in Your Organization. Welcome back to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. It's great to be with you again today as I share my new Forbes article, Fostering Change Agility and Readiness in Your Organization. Several years back, I was presenting about organizational change at a professional conference. When we arrived at the Q&A portion, a gentleman at the back of the room raised his hand and challenged the very premise of my presentation, that while change is difficult, we can dramatically increase the likelihood of success of change if we consistently do a handful of things. He had spent his career in the tech industry and had seen one failed change initiative after another and had concluded that we are all just chasing our tails. He was frustrated, disillusioned, and ultimately didn't believe his organization was capable of meaningful change. Organizational capacity for change. We have all experienced similar situations, frustrations, and challenges. The truth is, most individuals in most organizations are not good at change. In fact, most are terrible at it. If we hope to shift the narrative, we have to build our organizational capacity for change. Jason Gordon, a prominent business and legal educator, explained it this way. Organizational capacity for change entails the organization's preparedness and ability to respond to situations requiring change. He further outlines organizational capacity for change is comprised of three elements: human skill sets and resources, formal systems and procedures, and organizational culture, values, and norms. If we hope to be prepared for change, we need to develop the requisite skills and competencies supported by the organizational policies, practices, and procedures that will institutionalize our organization's change capacity, agility, and readiness. The necessity of change agility. As we strive to build our organization's capacity for change, we need to foster our individual and collective change agility. Shelley Osborne, learning and development expert and Udemy's vice president of learning, recently wrote in McGraw-Hill's business blog, "Understanding and accepting that change is constant and necessary is the key factor for thriving during uncertainty, both at home and in the modern workplace." I refer to this sense of adaptability as change agility, which is all about seeing change as an ongoing opportunity, not as a threat or liability. Considering the current climate, developing change agility as a competency has never been more important. In other words, in a world of continuous change, where the pace of change is rapidly increasing, we need to foster a growth mindset and lean into the messiness through developing change agility. The necessity of change readiness. As we seek to foster change agility, an essential component is our readiness for change. While few people enjoy change and most people will actively resist the changes that are going on around them, if we can learn to think about change differently as an opportunity for growth and the endless potential of yet unforeseen futures, we can prepare ourselves, our team, and our organization for the changes ahead. In their Harvard Business Review article, Chris Mulliswhite and Tammy Plouffe wrote, Change readiness is the ability to continuously initiate and respond to change in ways that create advantage, minimize risk, and sustain performance. This continuous and integrated approach to change requires the coordinated participation of everyone in the company, not just a few change agents or change leaders. It is not enough to foster change readiness in ourselves. We also need to help members of our team and individuals throughout the organization develop the change readiness mindset if we hope to be responsive to a hyper-competitive global marketplace and drive sustainable and meaningful organizational change. Building your change agility and readiness capacity. Here are 4 ways to build change agility and readiness in your organization. Focus on continuous learning. While few people readily embrace change and the associated pains and discomforts, if you can shift your mindset and that of your people to one of continuous learning rather than dreadful change, a semantics game, I know, you can lean into a growth mindset, which is half the battle. This reframing and new understanding will start the process of breaking down psychological barriers and resistance to change. Promote experimentation. As you lean into a culture and mindset of continuous learning, simultaneously promote and support ongoing experimentation through organizational policies, practices, and procedures. Far too often, organizations actually inadvertently thwart experimentation and innovation because the embedded organizational systems and bureaucracy actively punish individual initiative, creativity, or efforts that don't fully pan out as originally planned. Your people have to have permission to fail, or in other words, experiment and learn. Prioritize psychological safety. An extension of promoting experimentation is fostering psychological safety in your team. Your people need to know they're not alone and that they're not only allowed, but actively encouraged to speak up, challenge assumptions, push back on the status quo, and try new initiatives that are outside of the traditional box of understanding. This is the space where true innovation can occur, when people can see and foster new conceptual and practical connections. If your people feel like they are in a psychologically unsafe environment, they will tend towards safety and keep those ideas to themselves. Develop change leaders. In order to shift the embedded mindsets, cultural, and systems in your organizations, you need to grow into your own change leadership capacity, as well as actively develop change agents among the members of your team. Everyone should see themselves as an agent for sustainable change, and you can create this expectation to hold each other mutually accountable. As your organizational change leadership capacity increases, you can increase employee buy-in from throughout the organization and be more agile and ready for impending changes coming your way. Change is tough, there's no doubt about it, but it doesn't need to be as hard as people often make it. As you develop your organization's capacity for change through promoting change agility and change readiness, you can grow your own and your team's change competencies and capabilities. Through focusing on continual learning, experimentation, psychological safety, and change leadership, you can grow into and maximize your organization's potential to stay competitive and continually add value to the market. Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Academy. Courses, micro-credentials, and certificates to upskill and reskill for the future of work. All HCI Academy courses, micro-credentials, and certificates are designed, developed, and delivered by award-winning and internationally renowned scholars, educators, thought leaders, executives, and practitioners. Our courses, micro-credentials, and certificates will help you make your mark on the future of work and make an immediate impact in your organizations. Check out the HCI Academy and our many course offerings and certificates to upskill and reskill for the future of work. Check out our new weekly LinkedIn newsletter, Alchemizing Human Capital, exploring industry trends via original research and interviews with executives and thought leaders from across the globe. We look forward to having you join us. Bluer Than Indigo Leadership, the journey of becoming a truly remarkable leader. Early in my adult life, I learned about an Asian proverb that translates as bluer than indigo. If you think about the color indigo, it is a brilliant, deep, and vibrant blue, what some would call the bluest of blues. To have something that is bluer than indigo is rare and truly remarkable. Contrary to popular myth, there is no one-size-fits-all or cookie-cutter approach to effective leadership. There is no silver bullet, no secret sauce, no go-to model that will solve all of your problems. The truth is, great leaders have all had their unique strengths and flaws, and have all had to discover and then pave their own distinctive path in their life's journey to fulfill their leadership potential. Bluer Than Indigo Leadership will help you discover your own path and explore those ordinary, everyday actions that will help you respond to an uncertain future and produce extraordinary results for individuals, teams, and organizations. Check out Human Capital Innovations magazine, Human Capital Leadership. Human Capital Leadership is a free, interactive e-magazine with the mission to help individuals, leaders, and organizations find innovative approaches to maximize their human capital potential. We publish issues quarterly in August, November, February, and May. Take a look at the latest issue and let us know what you think. The alchemy of truly remarkable leadership. Ordinary, everyday actions that produce extraordinary results. Consider how the nature of work has shifted over the past 50 years. With increased globalization, rapid technological advancement, and the shift in economic composition, the average job of today looks very different than the average job of 50 years ago. What will the jobs and organizations of tomorrow look like? Moreover, what does this all mean for organizational leaders? What are the core competencies and capabilities of organizations and their leadership that are prepared for continued disruption and geopolitical and socioeconomic shifts? Regardless of what the future holds, increasingly, leaders need to be socially minded, data-driven, decisive, champions of talent, and disruptors of the traditional notions of leadership, teams, organizations, and work. The alchemy of truly remarkable leadership will help you to explore your own leadership competencies and capabilities and consider ways to apply and implement them into your workplace and personal life. Do you enjoy the Human Capital Innovations podcast? Please subscribe, leave a review, comment, share, and consider supporting the podcast on Patreon, even at the producer and sponsorship levels. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Human Capital Innovations podcast. I hope you stay healthy and safe and that you have a great week.